News when you want it with Bloomberg News Now. I'm John Tucker.
And I'm Karen Moscow.
And Karen, let's start with the latest developments to end the war in Ukraine. President Trump says Ukraine and Russia are, quote, closer than ever before to a peace deal. But he also acknowledges that negotiations could still break down and leave the war dragging on for years. Trump spoke yesterday as he hosted the Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskiy at his Florida resort.
I really believe we're probably, Mr. President, by far closer than ever before with both parties. We had some times when he was close and President Putin wasn't. Then we'd have President Putin was close and he wasn't. You saw that in the White House, Mark. But I think they both want to see it happen.
We get more on the meeting from Bloomberg's Rosalind Matheson.
Zelenskiy and Trump had what seemed to be a pretty productive conversation from Donald Trump's point of view, at least warm words afterward. So progress on those areas, perhaps on the role and size of the Ukrainian military after a war, and some understandings around the Ukraine economy, including the trade arrangements with the US. But not a lot of progress on the really biggest issues, the stickiest ones. And there, it seems still we're quite away from getting a full agreement, and one that certainly Ukraine and Russia would sign off on.
Bloomberg's Rosalind Matheson says Volodymyr Zelenskiy says he asked President Trump to consider the possibility of providing his country with security guarantees that would last 30 to 50 years.
Well, John, President Trump has another high-profile meeting on the docket at his Mar-a-Lago resort in Florida. He's scheduled to meet with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu this afternoon. The two aim to boost a U.S.-brokered ceasefire in Gaza, which faces challenges as it looks to move into a more complicated second phase. That phase involves rebuilding Gaza under international supervision, creating an international security force, and normalizing relations between Israel and the Arab world.
China kicked off military maneuvers around Taiwan that it said included live-fire drills. It's a dramatic show of force after the U.S. announced one of its biggest arms packages ever for the self-run democracy. China has vowed to take effective and strong measures to safeguard national sovereignty, as they put it. On Friday, it unveiled largely symbolic sanctions against 20 U.S. defense companies and 10 executives.
John, a powerful winter storm is sweeping east across the U.S., bringing a dangerous mix of snow, ice, rain, and high winds. And we get more with Bloomberg meteorologist Craig Allen.
More than a dozen states with some kind of alert or warning for a winter storm that is near the Great Lakes and very powerful in moving towards the St. Lawrence River Valley. We have blizzards across the upper Midwest, very heavy snowfall in portions of the Great Lakes. There is snow falling around Chicago. Strong winds, damaging winds all the way down through the Central Plains and the Tennessee, Ohio valleys into southern sections of the U.S. And in the east, big lake effect snow just downwind of the lakes in New York State. There will be snow in portions of New England. In fact, ice storm warnings for some sections of New York, Vermont, as well as New Hampshire. From Boston on down to New York City and Philadelphia and Washington, there will be some heavy rain showers during the day today, and then followed by some very cold, gusty winds.
And that's Bloomberg meteorologist Craig Allen reporting. We'll be checking in with Craig throughout the morning.
And let's turn to the markets now, Karen, where futures, they are mixed right now. Mixed a little change as we begin the last trading week of 2025. Still, stock averages hovering near all-time highs. Robert Teeter is the chief investment strategist at Silvercrest Asset Management.
My base case for next year is that we do see very solid earnings growth, so kind of low teens earnings growth, maybe a little bit of multiple compression, though. And part of that's just going to be a factor of some of this rotation. Maybe you get a little bit of, pressure release valve out of the mega caps that have been so strong, and I think strong for good reasons. But as you get some of that rotation, multiples might come down a little bit. So we're looking for high single-digit gains from equities next year, powered by double-digit earnings gains.
Silvercrest Asset Management's Robert Teeter. So far this year, the S&P 500 up almost 18%. The NASDAQ is up 22%.
Well, John, we're also seeing a volatile session in the commodities markets this morning. Silver and gold now lower after rising to records earlier. We get more with Bloomberg Markets reporter Valerie Teitel.
Today, we're seeing some of the air come out of Friday's blistering rally. Silver was up 10% on Friday, the biggest one-day move since 2008. If you look about the month of December, it's had the biggest one-month change since 1979. I have to go all the way back to the inflation days of the 70s to see a similar rise in silver in 1 month time, up near 40% just in this month. This morning was a quite a pronounced volatile session. Essentially, silver moved 11% in an hour. It opened up higher, around 6%, breaking through $84 an ounce for the first time ever. We've now come off of that, trading around $76 an ounce.
Yeah, and that's Bloomberg Markets reporter Valerie Teitel. And again, she said gold is also lower this morning after earlier rising to a record. So is platinum. And that's news when you want it with Bloomberg News Now. I'm Karen Moscow.
I'm John Tucker, and this is Bloomberg.